In the dark corridors of the Vatican, a secret kept for centuries begins to reveal itself. An ancient relic hidden in a forgotten room promises to challenge everything we know about history's most iconic figure, Jesus. Imagine a totally different image, with features that deviate from the common vision, which shaped the faith of millions. What does this discovery say about the true essence of one of humanity's greatest icons? Secret documents and witness accounts emerge, revealing a painting or sculpture that depicts Jesus in a way most have never imagined. Why was this representation kept silent? What else is hiding in the shadows of the Vatican? The answers could shake the foundations of Christianity and rewrite the narrative as we know it. Get ready, because this mystery goes far beyond the surface. With each layer we uncover, more questions arise. Could this be an attempt to control the image of Jesus? Or a way to preserve hidden knowledge that threatens established beliefs? The truth is closer than it seems, and you won't want to miss the details of this shocking revelation. Recently, a secret relic was discovered in the Vatican, and the news shook the religious and scientific world. Located in a barely accessible chamber, the relic consisted of an artifact that could provide new perspectives on the figure of Jesus. The researchers who participated in the discovery employed advanced archaeological techniques, such as carbon analysis and spectroscopy, to guarantee the authenticity of the object. These methodologies raised hopes that the relic was not just a work of art, but rather a concrete testimony to a past often shrouded in mystery. Authenticating the relic was not a simple task. Experts in ancient artifacts needed to meticulously examine every detail, from the material composition to the iconography depicted. The use of cutting-edge technology allowed scientists to confirm the age of the artifact and its geographic origin. These processes were fundamental in establishing the credibility of the discovery, since the scientific community is quite skeptical regarding new revelations about historical figures like Jesus. What makes this relic even more fascinating is its ability to challenge pre-established notions about the image of Jesus. Many believe that the traditional representation of Christ is a simplification and even a distortion of his real appearance. The relic is full of details that could offer new insight into what Jesus might have looked like, bringing to light the ethnic diversity that certainly existed in the region where he lived. Analysis of the relic reveals physical characteristics of Jesus that differ substantially from conventional representations. Instead of the European face and straight hair that we often see in paintings, the image contained in the relic suggests a man with darker skin and curly hair. This representation reflects the cultural and ethnic influences of first-century Palestine, where different ethnic groups coexisted. Furthermore, the relic shows features that could be interpreted as typical of a Semitic figure, which makes many question the Western images that have become dominant over the centuries. This new description is not just an aesthetic issue. It can have profound implications for how Jesus' followers identify with him. In an increasingly multicultural world, this new representation can make many feel more connected to the figure of Christ. The ethnic diversity of Jesus' time also raises questions about the universality of his message. If Jesus presented himself in a way that was more representative of the local population, this could indicate that his message of love and acceptance is equally universal, crossing cultural and racial barriers. The relic, therefore, is not just an object of study, but a symbol that can unify different groups in a new light. These new visual representations of Jesus may also influence contemporary religious art. Artists and theologians may feel inspired to create new works that reflect this more authentic image, causing representations of Christ to evolve and become more inclusive. This could open up space for a broader discussion about the identity of Jesus and how it is perceived in different cultures around the world. The discovery of the relic and its representation of Jesus not only instigates curiosity, but also invites deep reflection on what it means to follow his message. This new image may, in fact, be a step towards a richer and more diverse understanding of the legacy of Jesus, which transcends borders and connects people in a plural world. Jesus lived in a time marked by great social and political transformations. The first century of the Common Era was a period of Roman domination in Judea, which profoundly influenced the lives of people in the region. The demographics of the time were quite diverse, with Jews, Romans, and several other ethnicities living side by side. This cultural mix certainly had an impact on artistic representations of Jesus, which were often shaped by those who created them, reflecting their own views and contexts. Furthermore, the art of the time was not limited to depicting only religious figures, but also incorporated elements of everyday life and the surrounding nature. Hellenistic influences, for example, brought new forms of representation that emphasized beauty and symmetry. This may have contributed to the way Jesus was represented in various eras, often distorting his original appearance and the reality of his time. Jewish communities at the time of Jesus were diverse in terms of customs and religious practices. This cultural plurality may have generated different interpretations of the figure of Jesus, influencing not only religious art but also the way in which Christian messages were disseminated. Thus, the image of Jesus we know today may be more a reflection of the cultures that reproduced it than a faithful representation of who he really was. Over the centuries, this representation was consolidated, especially after the institutionalization of Christianity. Medieval art, for example, began to establish standards that often ignored the ethnic diversity of the region where Jesus lived. This has generated a stereotypical image that, although it has become popular, does not necessarily reflect historical reality. The cultural and historical context of Jesus is therefore essential to understanding how his image was shaped over time. This understanding helps to demystify the figure of Jesus and open space for new interpretations that consider the rich ethnic and cultural diversity of the time in which he lived. The new representation of Jesus brings to light a series of theological issues that could impact the way different Christian denominations perceive the figure of Christ. The traditional, often Eurocentric image can be challenged by this new view, which suggests that Jesus not only belonged to a different culture, but also that his message transcends ethnic and cultural barriers. This may lead to a re-evaluation of the role of Jesus in the Christian faith. One of the most significant implications is how this new representation can influence idolatry. Many Christian denominations take special care when dealing with images of saints and religious figures. With the rediscovery of a more authentic image of Jesus, there may be a shift in the way these denominations approach image veneration. This can generate internal debates about the nature of faith and the importance of visual representation in spirituality. Furthermore, the new image can open space for a more inclusive dialogue within the Christian community. Jesus' ethnic diversity can be an invitation for Christians to unite around a more comprehensive understanding of his message, which calls for acceptance and inclusion. This new perspective can therefore help combat discrimination and prejudice within the church itself. On the other hand, this change may be resisted by those who are comfortable with traditional representations. For some people, the image of Jesus they know is deeply linked to their religious and cultural identity. This resistance can generate tensions between different groups within Christianity, leading to heated debates about the true image of Jesus. Thus, the theological and religious implications of this new representation are not just a question of aesthetics, but rather an invitation to rethink the role of Jesus in contemporary Christian faith. How this new image is received will have a significant impact on discussions about identity, inclusion, and the essence of the Christian message. Several experts raise theories about why this relic, which bears the image of Jesus, may have been kept secret for so long. One of the most discussed reasons is the power that the Catholic Church has over the religious narrative. The image of Jesus, as traditionally known, has a central role in the doctrine and practice of the Christian faith. Changes in this image could generate an identity crisis among the faithful. Therefore, hiding a different representation could be a way to protect this identity. Another aspect to consider is control over the story. Over the centuries, depictions of religious figures have been shaped to suit specific agendas. The discovery of an image that contradicts accepted representations could destabilize this carefully constructed narrative. Religious leaders, fearing loss of control over the interpretation of the faith, may have chosen to hide the relic to maintain the cohesion of their teaching. Furthermore, the issue of ethnic and cultural diversity at the time in which Jesus lived may also have influenced the occultation. An image that represents Jesus differently can challenge dominant cultural perceptions, especially in a society that often tends to idealize religious figures based on Eurocentric standards. In this way, the hiding of the image can be seen as an attempt to avoid internal conflicts and divisions within the Church itself. Political and social agendas also play an important role in this context. In periods of religious conflict and persecution, any representation that could be considered subversive could be silenced. The relic, therefore, could have been hidden to protect not only the image of Jesus, but also the very survival of the Church in difficult times. The possibility that the relic contains information or symbolism that could be used inappropriately should also not be ruled out. The history of religion is full of disputes over interpretations and meanings. In this scenario, hiding the relic could be a way to prevent potentially explosive information from falling into the wrong hands. The discovery of the relic provoked diverse reactions among the scientific and religious communities. For theologians, the authenticity of the image is a central point of debate. Many wonder if this new representation of Jesus can really be considered valid, or if it is just another artistic interpretation. The discussion about the veracity of the relic is intense, and theologians are divided between those who support the new vision and those who reject it. Historians also play an active role in this discussion, analyzing the context in which the image was found. They seek to understand how the discovery fits into the historical timeline and what it means for understanding the figure of Jesus. For many, the new image represents an opportunity to reevaluate the history of Christian art and how depictions of Jesus have evolved over the centuries. Scientists, in turn, are interested in the methods used to authenticate the relic. Technical analysis of the image, including carbon dating and pigment studies, is crucial to determining whether the relic is genuine. The scientific community, always skeptical, demands concrete evidence before accepting authenticity. This leads to heated debates about the methods and conclusions reached. Within the religious community, reaction also varies. Some groups see the relic as a form of faith renewal, an opportunity to reimagine the figure of Jesus in a way that resonates more with contemporary diversity. Others, however, feel threatened by the change and question the implications it could have on religious doctrine and practice. These debates are not just academic, they have a real impact on people's lives. The discovery of the relic could influence the way Christians see themselves, their identity, and even their faith practices. Thus, the discussion about the image of Jesus found in the Vatican continues, reflecting not only the complexities of religious history, but also the social and cultural dynamics of the present. As our journey comes to an end, the revelation of the Vatican's secret relic makes us reflect on everything we thought we knew. If Jesus' true appearance is, in fact, so different from the image we know, what else could be hidden from the masses? Why was this alternative representation kept under wraps for so long? This leads us to question the intentions behind the story we have been told. Imagine if, behind the doors of the Vatican, there are more secrets, more truths that could shake the foundations of faith as we know it. What if other banned texts, other forgotten relics, also held surprising revelations about biblical figures? Now we leave you with a few questions. What do you think this discovery means for our understanding of Jesus? Is the story given to us just a carefully crafted version? And what other hidden truths are waiting to be discovered? Continue with us on this journey of mysteries and theories, because the truth may be more surprising than you imagine. Sign up, activate the bell, and come and discover more secrets with us.